Hello and welcome to He's Hot, but Something is Off. It's been a while since I did a podcast because last week was Thanksgiving and the skincare line, Makné, launched the Friday before Thanksgiving, like 6 days before Thanksgiving. And it's been like nonstop. Been working so hard for many months, like up until the launch date. And the closer we got to the launch date, the busier it got. So over Thanksgiving, it was really great. Like Thursday, Friday, especially, I just kind of unplugged, and it was actually pretty good. I'm still kind of there. You know, when you take a long weekend off, and that first day back after a long weekend, it's extra hard to get back to work. You know, just a regular weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and you go back to work on a Monday, it's a little hard. We do it every week, but, you know, it's still a little hard. But like when you have 4 days off, that's extra hard. Anyways, welcome back to the podcast. And I want to get a dog again, but I don't think I'm going to get one, but I might get one. So David was here last week. Blah, blah, blah. We're talking. We chat every so often on like WhatsApp. But, you know, like it's been a while since we had some time to hang out. Since it's been a little while since he was able to visit me for a few days. And we're just chatting, blah, blah, blah. And I did remember saying to him, it would have been really nice to have had a dog for companionship for most of this year, but especially the last 4 or 5 months, to kind of just cheer me up. I think my emotions have been very, very like a roller coaster. The peaks were not super high, but the lows are kind of low. Not like depression, clinical depression level low. I'm not trying to oversell this. But it would just so much work to do the launch while still keeping like the OnlyFans running, because that's like, you know, that was launched years ago, but hey, you still have to like hoist up content every single month. And then I also I probably shouldn't have, but I launched the travel agency business. What we've been up and running for four months now, something like that. So it was my bad to try to do that much. Yeah, but it would have been really nice to have had like a dog around, some companionship, because it was just, you know, like some days you wake up and it's like, oh my God, like starting my business is never going to work. There's like a million things I have to do. I'm not making enough progress. You know, that inner voice really, you come for yourself, basically. Your emotions come for you. Your emotions come for your thoughts. To kind of like push through that all by yourself, it's like really hard. You know, I probably should have leaned on my friends a little bit more, but I think looking back on it now, I probably should have in some ways let off the gas a little bit and made more time to socialize with friends. But, you know, it was a lot that I needed to get done for the launch. So, you know, for the time, and all the work is done on the computer. So I'm on the computer so often. There were days where I just had a headache because I was in front of the computer for so long. And it's like, okay, we need to we're done with the computer for today. We can't work anymore. And I rarely get headaches. So and obviously with the stress and everything, that probably wasn't helpful. I think it would have been really nice to have a dog for companionship. I do dog sit for a couple of friends here in LA. You guys have met Louis before, the white poodle. Actually, I'm not sure he's a poodle. He might be some other breed, but he's at least part poodle, I think. The thing with Louis, the last time I had him, it was for 2 weeks. It was like 15 days that I had him. Daddies were over in Europe. And with Louis, I never quite clicked with him. Because Louis is aloof. Louis is kind of aloof. He doesn't snuggle. He doesn't fetch. I think I mentioned this on my Patreon, and I was talking to David about it. But like, he doesn't fetch. And different dogs like to play with different types of toys and play different things. Some dogs just don't fetch. Some dogs will want you to throw something, but they're not going to bring it back. They're not like a retriever. They don't have that retrieval instinct. Some dogs don't like to cuddle. Some dogs are a little more stubborn. So, Louis is not the type of dog that I would want because Louis wants to be near you, but Louis does not want to be... It's okay to like pick him up if you have to, and he won't complain, but he doesn't like it. He won't complain. He's just like indifferent to you. If you have to like pick him up for some reason, like to cross the street when he's like, doesn't want to cross or something, you just have like whatever. He's fine. He doesn't cuddle, which I don't need to cuddle with my dog all the time, but I would like my dog to be a little bit more affectionate than that. Like Louis, it's like, okay, just give me my food and take me out. Otherwise, I don't care if you live or die. That dog is kind of sort of like that. He does like to play. But the good thing about Louis, I will say, is he's not bugging you to like entertain him. Louis is very content to just chill on a bed and like take a nap. So that's kind of great. I don't want a super high energy dog. But I think I want something a little higher energy than Louis. He likes short walks, but sometimes to walk him is kind of difficult because sometimes he just like doesn't want to continue on a walk. I don't know if he likes the act of walking, but I want to take my dog on walks. I want to play fetch with the dog. I want the dog to be what's that word? I want the dog to be a little more affectionate, a little less aloof. Not so stubborn. I feel like Louis, he does unless he knows you have food, he does not care about you. Which for me is not my idea of the type of dog that I would like. So even though I had Louis for a couple of weeks, the last time I had him, and this was in August, I think, I never like bonded with him, and I did like having a dog around, but like that's not my idea of like companionship. So yeah, but I feel like for as long as I've remembered, like I've kind of sort of always wanted a dog. It's not like the thing I want the most in the world, but it's kind of sort of like on and off that I've wanted a dog. I told you guys I had a dog crate. This like super nice, super expensive dog crate. When I listed my condo for sale early this year, like in January, where I was working with my realtor to get the place, already like fix up little things and kind of like get rid of some of the junk and make sure it was like, a show worthy basically. And one of the things I did was just got rid of extra furniture that I didn't really need and that I wasn't planning to take with me when I move out of this place. And I bought that dog crate. I looked it up the other day. This super nice dog crate. It looks like a side table. It's heavy as fuck, but it's like solid wood. It looks like a side table. When I bought it, it was like $550. I just checked the price recently. They sell for like $900 now. But it's super, super heavy. It's like 50 or 60 pounds for like the small size. And I had it right beside my armchair. I used to have this like orange armchair from IKEA. I got rid of the armchair. I got rid of the dog crate. I actually went to one of my neighbors down the hallway. My realtor knows like some random people in the building. He didn't know until like later on when they ran into him. I was like, okay, they have a dog. Let's give them the dog crate. It's a nice dog crate. But I bought that dog crate in 22, 3 years ago. And I was so ready to have a dog. I remember right around that time, I went to this like dog rescue place somewhere in LA. And they have this thing where like you can kind of come in, you like signing, you can come in and kind of like hang out with the dogs just to like see the dogs and the puppies and whichever dogs that they have there. And I did spend like a little bit of time there, but I ended up not doing it. And even as recently as earlier this year, I was like, oh, I'm kind of glad I didn't have a dog because dogs are a lot of work. I was having not an argument. I was bringing up the idea that, you know what, in some ways, kids, sometimes I talk so much on the podcast, I don't know, but I mentioned this on the podcast or it was on Patreon or with David, but like, in some ways, kids are less work than dogs. Hear me out. It's a hot take. It's It's not the popular opinion. I think when you have a dog could live for like 15 years. Okay. With a dog, you're always going to have to feed them food, and they can never really be, you can't go out of town and leave the dog at home. You can leave the dog home for like when you're at work during the day. That's pretty much it. You always have to like pick up after them when they do their number twos. With a baby, they are that reliant on you for like a small portion of their lives. From when they are born up until I don't know, when do kids start knowing how to go into the pantry and get food? 7, 8, 10, right? When kids get to be like 13 or 14, they can probably stay home for like a weekend, and it won't be like that bad. But when you have like a 14-year-old dog, they are senior now, and they might need extra care. So is that a really messed up comparison? Yeah, but yeah, it would just have been really nice the last little bit to have had a dog. So yeah, I'm kind of looking for a dog. I'm not saying I will get a dog, but sometimes when I want to like buy or get something, I allow myself to window shop. Because for me, that's fun. Window shopping is fun. I'm into cars, so a lot of times I just read about whatever new cars that are coming out. I'll read like car reviews and things like that, just for fun, because it's just, it's just a hobby, right? I'm a car enthusiast. I like reading about cars. I'm into tech, so like I like playing with gadgets, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna buy all the cars and gadgets out there. It's just sometimes nice and fun to just keep up on the industry. Like, oh, what new cars are coming out, and like what kind of new tech gadgets or new technologies are out there or being developed or coming soon or whatever. So the same thing with like a dog. I can entertain myself, just looking up like different animals that are available for adoption, like the adoption listings and things like that. But there's always this part of me that's like, as you get older, you realize more and more that in a way, time is running out. We're all going to die eventually. And who knows when we're going to go? Maybe even the universe doesn't know. But sometimes because of that, the age is probably a factor. Sometimes it's like, you know what? If you want something and it's not like a crazy thing, like just get it. If you want to do something and it's not some crazy thing to do, just go do it. A little like bucket list type of a thing. If you want to get a dog, just go get a dog. It's not a crazy thing to get a dog. I feel like I'm a very responsible person. I maxed out the insurance. On my car insurance, I maxed out the coverage, which I feel like most people don't do, even though it's like very expensive. I have a fire extinguisher. Most people don't even have that. When I talk about, when I give travel and cruise advice, I'm very big on like, oh, make sure you get there the day before the cruise. Don't come the morning of, because what if your flight gets delayed? I'm because of my more traditional conservative upbringing, I've been taught to be more risk adverse. So, and I'm the type of person, even like starting this podcast, I had the idea, but like it took me a few months of like thinking about it before I like commit to it. Because, so many podcasts, someone starts a podcast, they do it for a little while, and then it just like goes away. I see this a lot with like people that want to do YouTube. Okay. It's very easy, low barrier entry. Anyone can like most people have a Google account. And when you have a Google account, you have a YouTube account. And anyone can just randomly post a video on YouTube. Anyone can post a TikTok video, something on Instagram, whatever it is. But I think YouTube is a little bit more like something you don't do as casually. And anyone can post a fucking photo on Instagram, okay? And it doesn't matter. People that want to be a YouTuber, whatever that means to you, it doesn't mean making a living off of it or making any money off of it. It just means like, I think at the very minimum, being a YouTuber means just uploading videos regularly. It's not necessarily about monetizing the videos, but just if you upload a YouTube every once in a blue moon, that's not a YouTuber. I feel like one of the basic things is, okay, uploading regularly. Is that like, whether that be like once a month, or once a week or whatever it is. But so many people that quote unquote want to be a YouTuber is like, oh, I uploaded one video, I'm a fucking YouTuber now. Same with all these fucking influencer people. Anyways, they'll upload a video and then they can do it while the novelty is still there. But then there's so many YouTube channels where someone think, I'm gonna go be a YouTuber. I'll upload videos, and then literally like 2 months later they stop. They just don't have they just haven't thought about it, and they don't appreciate how much work it is, and they don't have the follow through, and it's not something they really enjoy. So it's like, oh, they're thinking, oh, like look at all these YouTubers uploading videos, I can do it. It's just have no appreciation for how much work it's gonna be. I was at the gym today very randomly, and I don't know why it just popped into my head. I was trying to think about how many videos, like proper videos, not like an Instagram reel or like a TikTok, something for OnlyFans or something for YouTube. Like a video that you had to like properly edit, not like a tiny little 10-second clip of like a dog tripping over his dog bowl or something like that, okay? There's been at least 1,000 videos that have made me money in some way, shape, or form. Granted, on YouTube, I don't have like 1 million followers. My YouTube videos are monetized, but you know, maybe it just gives me like, I looked at my most popular videos the other day. I think my most watched video, I think had like 300,000 views or something. And I think it's maybe something like $500 or $600 over the lifetime. And that video was uploaded like years ago. So the YouTube monetization where YouTube runs ads on your videos and you get like a little cut, it's a very small cut. Maybe like most months, not every month, I'll get a check for something like $100 something from YouTube, just from the ads that run on it. It's a very small amount, but I'm not trying to make money off of the YouTube, but you know, they are monetized. And my rough back of napkin math is I've probably created over 1,000 proper videos that require like going into a video editor and editing them, not like some little TikTok or Instagram reel. I've created over $1,000, over 1,000 videos that have been monetized. Obviously on OnlyFans, have brought in a lot of money. And I thought about how much money have I made from all the videos that I've monetized. And I think to date, I made probably like $100,000. That sounds impressive, but the thing is like, I started doing YouTube, 15 years ago? I only just started, obviously the bulk of that is from OnlyFans. But yeah, like I feel like, okay, I'm not top 1% on OnlyFans or YouTube that is raking in like 6 figures or more every year. But, you know, I do have some experience creating videos, but, you know, every time I want to like start some new venture that requires creating content, I know how intense and serious it can be. So it took me a few months after having the idea for this podcast to be like, once I started, I need to do this every week. And, you know, there's no obligation for me to do it. Like, I do this for fun. I've said that multiple times. But I think we're up to, 110, 120 episodes? Whatever this is. I lose track. And, you know, but this podcast has been running pretty much every week for, 2-something years? Because I thought it through before I started it. I didn't just, jump into it. You know, it's kind of sort of the same thing with getting a dog. Getting a dog is a serious commitment. But on the flip side of that, sometimes I feel like I overthink the decisions like that. Obviously, all the official advice is like, you know, the dogs live for 12 or 15 years. They are relying on you for everything. That part of it, yes, I obviously understand the gravity of the situation, if you will. But then I also think there are a lot of people that are not as responsible as me. That have dogs, and that's perfectly fine. The real world data is that it really shouldn't be a problem for me to have a dog. Again, I've always wanted a dog. It's not like the thing I need the most, to be honest. But especially this year, it would be really nice. And the other thing is you know what? I've thought about having a dog for so long, I should just get a dog. There's always gonna be some excuse to not have a dog. There's also you know, if I were to have a kid, let's say I had a partner and we wanted to have a child, there's always going to be an inconvenient time to do something. So I feel like, yeah, maybe this time I just get a dog. And even if I don't get a dog, you know, it's kind of sort of like a fun way to kill some time and distract myself when I have, you know, when I need to take a break from work or doing other things or whatever. Just looked up dogs that are for adoption and things like that. But I have narrowed down to the type of dog that I think I would like based on like temperament, energy levels, and like things like that. I want a small dog. I want a dog that could travel with me in a pet carrier in the cabin of an airplane. And for that, they need to fit in a carrier that fits under the seat in front of you. It counts as like your personal item from the airline's perspective. And usually that means it's mainly the height and length of the dog, like the dimensions of the dog that matters the most. But usually a dog that's up to about 15 pounds, usually it's okay for that. So I'm kind of looking for like that or under. Louis is 13 pounds. I know he's 13 pounds. I know he's 13 pounds because when he came to me to stay for 2 weeks, I wanted to make sure that I didn't give him too many treats, or I want to make sure I was exercising him enough because I didn't want to fatten up the dog to before his daddies came back from Europe. So I weighed him at the beginning, just on my regular scale. I weighed him when he first came to stay with me, and I weighed him again about like a week into it to make sure like, okay, I'm not fattening you up. And he was like exactly like 13.4 pounds both times I weighed him. I was like, okay, I'm not giving you too many treats. I was giving him treats actually. I was giving him a lot of treats actually, but I took him for like 3 walks a day. So he had time to burn off all those extra treats. Yeah, but Louis was 13 pounds and he's actually a pretty good size. Looking at him, it looked like he would weigh more, but he was like 13 pounds. And it's like, I think that's a good size. He's just small enough that I think he could be comfortable in the carrier to like fit under the plane. I don't think I would travel with my dog like all the time on an airplane, but I would love the option too. Like if I were to fly to Vancouver to like visit my family for a few days, I would love to just like bring my dog with me. I want to have the option. And I don't think I live in a condo in West Hollywood. I don't have a yard per se. I don't want like a super large dog. I never wanted a super large dog anyways. So yeah, like a smaller dog, that's maybe like low teens, like 12 pounds, 14 pounds, something like that. The dog must be non-shedding. So Louis, being a poodle or like a poodle mix, doesn't shed at all. I've never found any dog hair or dog fur, but poodles have hair, not fur. The great thing about Louis is he left no trace, except for like the couple of times he took a poop in my living room. But besides that, in terms of like hair and fur, it was like, I didn't notice any. And I have this like dark couch that he jumps onto. I've got this like dark gray rug in my living room. So like any kind of like white hair from him, I would have seen it on the couch or like the rug, but like absolutely nothing. So it has to be, I think, for me, like a poodle mix because poodles don't shed much of it all. So I think it has to be like a poodle mix because the thing I don't want is to have to pick up hair all the time. The laundry room, the washing machines in the building laundry room, half the time when I go down there, the washing machines have dog fur. Like you can see on the washing machine, like the gasket on the front, this black gasket, and it's got like 1 inch long brown fur all over it. And then like the door, which is the clear plastic door, there's fur on there too. And I was like, this is why I need to have my own washer and dryer. And some people don't know to like leave the door open on front loading washing machines. Otherwise, it's going to get moldy inside. There's this giant label on the top of the door that says leave the door open. But like apparently people are fucking illiterate in this building. I want to move. Anyways. Yeah, I think like a poodle mix. I think I would, ideally for me, I would love the dog to be like brown. They don't have to be like, doesn't have to be uniformly brown. It could be like brown and white. But I really like that. I just like that color. I like a light brown, not like a chocolate brown, like a light brown. A lot of poodle mixes are just white. And I'm not I think, yeah, I would just prefer to have be like white and brown or just brown. I've always loved the disposition and kind of like the shape of a spaniel. So I think a cockapoo, which is like a cocker spaniel and poodle mix, is probably up my alley. A lot of spaniels tend to come in like like a red or like a brown. A lot of poodles are white, but this when you mix, you get like some variation. So a cockapoo, which is apparently a cocker spaniel and a poodle mix. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And apparently it's supposed to be pretty one of the more common mixes, but there's not that many of them that are available for adoption. So, but it was fun for me just after the skincare brand had launched. By the way, go buy my skincare, please. Everything's linked down below. Plug. It's at least fun for me to daydream a little bit about getting a dog and look up what kind of dogs or what kind of breeds I would like and look up, what kind of dogs are available for adoption in the area. There is a chance that one day I'll be doing episode podcast and I'll just have a dog in my hand. It's possible. I think I just worry too much before doing something. Like it told me, not that it's bad to really think about what you're getting yourself into, especially with something like a dog where, hey, like this is like, it's a fucking animal that is dependent on you for everything for the next 15 years of life. That's like a serious commitment. But I feel like, having said that, I feel like I just freak myself out. Based on that kind of logic, it's like no one should be getting a dog. Honestly, like the number of people where dogs are suitable for them, because they say like, oh, you travel all the time, you shouldn't have a dog. You shouldn't leave your dog at home. You work long hours. You shouldn't have a dog. You travel all the time. You shouldn't, like a dog is like 12 or 15 years. Like who knows what their next 15 years of their life is going to bring? Like no one. Really, really no one. Only the most boring straight people might have some assurance that their lives will continue to be boring and average for the next 10 to 15 years. No one has like a crystal ball. So yes, I understand that I need to take care of the dog for the next 10 to 15 years, but like I can't predict exactly what's going to happen in the next 15 years. But that shouldn't be a deterrent. Just because you don't know what the future is like should not be a deterrent for you to like make a decision today. So I feel like I just overthink and freak out a little too much about it. Because I'm so like risk adverse is my upbringing. Yeah, I think I would love to have a dog. The right type of dog. Spaniels are so like loving and affectionate. They have fur, so they do shed like a little bit. I love the look of a spaniel. So I think a spaniel poodle mix would be great. I did do my OPA's live stream, my monthly OPA's live stream for my top tier OPA subscribers on Patreon. The one in November had a couple of people join in, and Johnny, one of the participants on the live stream, I remember him saying, I was talking about dogs, and then I remember him saying he wasn't super keen on him having his dog because, it's not all just like puppy kisses and cuddles. It does. I think his wording was it does cramp his style a little bit because if you go out of town, okay, you need to figure out someone to take care of your dog. You need to like have a friend that is willing to like dog sit for you, or doggy hotel, or like have a dog sitter or things like that. So yeah, I thought through all that stuff because all the times I've been close to getting a dog, I did basically thought of everything to like the nth degree. But yeah, I just after this year, it's like I think I would really appreciate having a dog. I've liked dogs for so long now. There's always gonna be some excuse to like not get a dog, but I feel like I should just get one at this rate. What do you think? Comment down below. Comment down below on what you think of whether I should get a dog or the type of dog I should get, or maybe something that I've not overlooked. I obviously didn't go into all the nitty-gritty details, but I feel like I've thought out everything, honestly. And yeah, the fact that I don't know what my life is going to be like because in the coming year, just because I'm not fucking psychic, and no one knows what their life is going to be like over the next 15 years. I don't think that's actually a great excuse. If that's not a great excuse to not get a dog, because no one knows what's going to happen to them in like 5, 10, or 15 years. By that logic, no one should get a dog. No one should have a baby. No one should be taking care of any sort of human or animal that is reliant on them for the next 10 to 15 years. But that logic doesn't make any sense. Yeah, because anyways, there's also the other thing of like, you know what? I've said this is advice I've given before. The advice I've given before is, if you want to get something, if you want to buy something, especially, again, assuming it's not some stupid crazy thing. If you want to get something because you want something, you don't need to justify to anyone. For me, that advice is more for not like an animal or like a baby that is going to fundamentally alter your daily routine for the next X years. That's more like, if you want the new iPhone, you don't have to justify. Like, if you have the means, it's not a crazy thing to buy a new phone. It's not like you're trying to buy a Ferrari, okay, and cash out your life savings for it. If you want to go buy a new iPhone, you want to go buy a pair of shoes, you want to get a cheesecake, whatever, like, if you want it and you have the means, just go get it. You don't need to justify it to anyone. You know what I mean? So maybe that applies here too. I think in some ways I'm trying to justify it, but I don't need to. If I want to do something, I should just do something. Maybe that's also the age talking as well. Anyways, leave your comments. I want to see all your comments about dog ownership. Not just me having a dog, but like what your comments and thoughts are on dogs in general and dog ownership. I'd be really interested to hear about that. But until next time, obviously I mentioned my Patreon a couple of times. My Patreon is there. You know that you can be a free member of my Patreon and get previews of everything that I post there. Actually, quite a few free subscribers on my Patreon. So Patreon is linked down below. Go check that out. I mentioned my skincare line. We've launched. There are sales, like there are discount codes out there. In the ads, we have a discount code, but if you just subscribe to the newsletter I have for Makné, for the skincare brand, you will get a discount code for 20% off. Ooh, if you would like a discount code for listeners of this podcast, comment below. And yeah, if you guys want a discount for skincare, good skincare shit, it's good shit, okay? I'm gonna make fucking crap. If you want a discount for the skincare stuff, as listener, just as like a bonus for listening to this podcast, just comment down below. And like, sometimes you want something, you just have to ask and you get it. So if you guys want a discount for some skincare, for some Makné products, comment down below. I'll give you guys a code. It's as simple as that. And also, obviously, if any of you are thinking about an upcoming Atlantis gay cruise, you already know because you listen to the podcast, I am now a professional travel advisor. JustJoeyTravels, DM JustJoeyTravels on my Instagram. And then, I can get you hooked up. We're running Atlantis is running their Black Friday deals. They've just extended it until this Friday, which is tomorrow. This usually goes on Thursdays. And I just did a episode of the Gay Cruise and Travel podcast. See all the shit that I've got going on. I just did an episode of the Gay Cruise and Travel podcast explaining the 3 deals that they have for Black Friday that have been extended till this current Friday, and also like the fine print that I like to say out loud to all those listeners. I'm doing shit. I have a successful OnlyFans business. I'm starting my travel agency. I just launched my skincare line. I am a YouTuber. I'm a podcaster. I have 3 podcasts that I record every single week. I have my Patreon. What the fuck are you doing? All right. Until next time. Bye, y'all.